faith, family, and the future of our community. Welcome to Ashonda at Large.
Rape them and send them here. Rape them and send them here.
One of the things that I can't quite understand as of yet is how we as a community can see so many things wrong that the Caucasian community does, or the communities that are enriching themselves off of us, be there Asian or Arab communities enriching themselves off of us in our community while we stay on the bottom rungs. But when it comes to the issue of abortion, it's one of those things that we're kind of, silent on as a community. We don't really like to deal with the issue of abortion because abortion is kind of like stepping in my record collection. Abortion is dealing with our personal sins. And one of the things that's appalling to me about that is because if we are going to grow as a community, we're going to have to deal with this very unpleasant reality that we are living in. We're living in a time where this issue of abortion must be addressed if we talk about our lives and how they really do matter. Abortion is the number one killer in the Black community, and that is combining heart disease, combining STDs, combining gang-related violence, police brutality, all of it in combination. Abortion still far exceeds our numbers that are being lost daily. But as you heard that doctor yell out, rape them and send them here. This is the attitude, in all honesty, that those who are in the abortion community, like Planned Parenthood, this is the attitude that they really do have.
And we can get that appointment all set up.
Remember the first day of your last month?
The clinic's call center is open 7 days a week, and when we visited, there was a constant flow of incoming calls to schedule abortions.
I think some of us, would like to imagine that it's different, that they actually care about us as women. When you're going through a very emotional time, you've made a decision. A lot of times women have made decisions to sleep with a guy and they get pregnant and then they don't know what to do. They feel like they can't afford the child. They feel like this is going to ruin my life. So they make a decision to go and get an abortion. And it is a very, very personal and emotional decision, heart-wrenching, that will stay with you for the rest of your life. And it's unfortunate, but I tell you, the thing is that what is troubling to me is that we can see how drugs have affected our community for the negative. We can even see, a lot of us now, how hip-hop and R&B has been used to poison our community for the negative. We can see how these politicians don't care about us. But when it comes to this issue of abortion, it's one of those things that we just don't want to deal with on a massive scale. We want to kind of push that under the rug and hide it. Well, I'll tell you what, I have been outside of an abortion clinic several times and seen the women coming out, seeing the pain on their faces, and not just the pain on their faces because it was a emotionally rough thing that they went through, but also because they're boiled over, their stomachs are in pain because life has just been ripped out of their womb. And it's a very heartbreaking thing to see, but we have tried everything that we could within our parameters legally to be able to help them to understand that there's different resources out there that are available that they're not aware of, so that they don't have to go through this. But it's painful to watch. And this doctor here, if that's what you would like to call him, Ron Virmani is his name. I'm going to read you an article about him so you can get a clearer understanding of his philosophy and why it is that he felt so bold and brazen to say the words that he said out of his mouth concerning the women that are going to the abortion clinics. This says Ron Virmani is an abortionist at a Preferred Women's Health Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is the largest abortion provider in the Carolinas. Virmani was arrested for rape in 2014, but was never convicted, and according to some sources had his record expunged. Virmani was accused of sexually assaulting a 49-year-old woman who he invited to his home for a business meeting. Investigators reported that he raped the woman, then refused to let her leave his home, which led to his arrest. In June of 1992, Virmani had his medical license suspended for improper sexual relations with a patient, and in 2012, he came under fire for racist comments when confronted by pro-life supporters. He said, "Let me see you adopt one of those ugly black babies." Interestingly, for an industry that claims to be all about women's health, women's rights, and women's choice, this quote-unquote doctor, as he was pulling into the abortion clinic on Saturday, yells out the window to pro-life supporters, "Rape them and send them here."
Rape them and send them here. Rape them and send them here.
So, this is a really, really sad situation, obviously, that we see. But the thing is that I'm surprised that we are not up in arms as a community about this. I'm surprised that this has not gone viral in the black community. It kind of frustrates me when I see black media ignoring situations like this. How is it that this man who calls himself a quote-unquote doctor can yell out the window, rape them, and send them here to the abortion clinic to abort their babies? How is it that the black community is not up in arms about that? I mean, we're up in arms about a lot, especially when it comes to police brutality. We're up in arms about that. But when it comes to the most innocent of our community, a lot of us are dead silent. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are controlled, programmed by the Democratic Party to think that this whole issue is about an issue of choice. This is not about an issue of choice. It never was about an issue of choice. It was always about an issue of extermination. Margaret Sanger, the racist founder of Planned Parenthood, was very much interested in destroying the black community. And I know people have said, no, she wasn't. People have misconstrued her words. But see, I'm not listening for words. I'm listening for fruit. I'm looking for fruit. I'm looking to see where your hands have touched and what you have done.
I should think that instead of being impractical, it is really very practical and intelligent and humane. I believe that there should be no more babies.
And when I see that abortion has literally impacted our community more than any other demographic in the United States, even over in the continent, they're pushing abortion left and right. They're pushing it through sterilization, they're pushing it through birth control. But here specifically, we will covet that. We will covet that desire to be able to have and do what we want with our bodies.
We tell them that having an abortion is the wrong thing to do, when in fact it's entirely up to them. I didn't think twice about it. I knew exactly what I wanted.
But as you see, the doctor says exactly what he thinks about women and our babies, ugly black babies. You see, we have to get off of the Democratic plantation in our minds. We have to get off of these political witchcraft parties that only serve to destroy our community. And we have to get our conscience back.
Ancestors, as well as victims, survivors, and descendants of folks who experienced the Holocaust.
This group of lawmakers made it clear they are offended.
Sadly, we have no Jewish caucus to speak out against the deeply insulting and painful comparison of abortion to the Nazi Holocaust.
So what exactly happened? Well, these lawmakers say while an abortion bill was being discussed, other lawmakers and people testifying compared abortion to slavery, lynching, and the Holocaust. They say that comparison was brought up several times this year.
And court handed down the decision that a mother owns the baby. With slavery, the slave owner owned the slave.
Today, about 2 hours after the Legislative Black Caucus and the Women's House Democratic Caucus publicly denounced these comparisons,
we have to realize that abortion has never been the answer, but we also have to address the underlying factors to abortion. We have to address the fact that a woman who decides to get an abortion only does so because she was first pregnant. And the reason why she was pregnant 9 times out of 10 is not because of what the doctor said. It's not because of rape, but rather because of the choices that she has made in her life to have sex with somebody who she's not prepared to have a baby with. And obviously a lot of that is controlled as well through the media, through hip hop, through Disney from a young age, being fed this over-sexualized appetite so that when this young person or 20-year-old who thinks they're big and bad enough to sleep with who they want to gets pregnant, then they find themselves in a disposition that's unfavorable. And they go to the abortion clinic not aware that there are so many resources available for them, even if they choose not to keep their child. This is one of the things that we have to deal with. This is a secret sin in our community. And this goes way, 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 way back, way beyond America. This is actually in our bones from way back before we got to this land. So we need to understand that nothing is new under the sun, but we have to deal with this issue because when you choose to ignore abortion, essentially what you are doing, whether or not you realize it spiritually, abortion is murder. And so whether you realize it spiritually or not, what you have just done is release the spirit of death upon your life. You've released that. So sometimes women will try to romanticize it and glamorize it and say, you know, I had an abortion and I don't regret it. But in actuality, they do regret it.
The regret that I felt was that I wasn't at the right point in my life to have a child. And that's what hurt the most.
It's very difficult for them to admit that because pride in them does not want to reveal their soul wound and all the trail of failure in their life. Unable to hold on to relationships, unable to keep a consistent relationship with a husband, having a lack of lovelessness toward the seed that they did bear, not being able to concentrate, not being able to focus, because one of the components of abortion, which a lot of people don't talk about, is mental illness, which follows many of the women who actually have had an abortion. So there's so much more that we could say about this subject, but I wanted to share this with y'all because I think that this is the kind of stuff that we need to make go viral. This is the kind of stuff that we need to awaken our community to, that this is what these people who pretend to be our friends, pretend to care about our rights and a woman's body and right to choose and all that, this is what they really think about us. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and his mouth spoke. And he's speaking for the system. You see, this man here, he was convicted of rape himself, but was not actually prosecuted because he's in bed with the system. And so this system that's protecting him is the same system that is destroying us. So we have to be aware of that. But I wanted to bring that to y'all quickly, and I definitely want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think about this quote-unquote doctor and his opinion about women and what they should do with their bodies? Or men. He's telling men literally to go out and rape women. Okay, so what do you think about this doctor? Definitely let me know in the comment section below. As always, please like and share. And if you have not gotten a chance to subscribe to Ashonda at Large, please do so for great content. And thank you so much for tuning in to my faithful subscribers and new subscribers. Welcome to the fam. Well, as always, love yourself without hating your enemies. And until next time, Yah bless and shalom.